I want to give you an update on a project from way back in 2017 that I started. You might remember that Carbon Doomsday, it was a graphic tracking the rise of carbon dioxide from the Keeling curve. I'd gone through that raw data set, and although the data is being updated like every 5 minutes, once a day, the science lab posts a Excel-style JPEG showing the rise of carbon dioxide, and I saw that, and it just it just didn't look like data that was important. It looked like something that had been forgotten or something just kind of been, hey, let's throw an Excel graph on it. At the same time, I've seen stock charts, and stock charts are very colorful. They go up and down. They're updated like all the freaking time. And I wanted to make something that was a visualization of carbon dioxide that was still showing the raw scientific data, but was something that was real time. It looked important, and it was a repository where it would make it easy for others to access the data points through an API. So that was Carbon Doomsday. And these days it's called State of Carbon, and it tracks the rise of carbon dioxide. So we started the project in 2017. Carbon dioxide was around 405 parts per million. And you can see that over time, well, hey, carbon dioxide continues to rise in a really significant way. I mean, we hit 427 parts per million this past year. As part of the creation of the website, I also got to go visit Mauna Loa in Hawaii, which is coincidentally where I grew up. But I got to go up to the mountain for the first time to this observatory. It's a atmospheric observatory, so it's not a telescope. I learned that all from Aidan Colton, who was the staffer there who showed me around. I got to stand next to this picture of David Keeling, Charles David Keeling, who's created the Keeling curve back in 1958. That all happened. If you've ever heard the Keeling curve, it's all been happening in that little observatory since 1958. So very cool stuff, and it was great to make that project. So I want to tell you about this update about the project. So recently, this earlier this year, the U.S. federal government cut funding to Mauna Loa, cut the funding to Mauna Loa. So it looks like they're gonna have to close it down. They're not going to be continuing to host the data set. They're not going to be continuing to update the data set or host it. And this got me thinking about the inception of the whole Carbon Doomsday website, which is like, how do we preserve this data? How do we make it more accessible from a visualization standpoint and from a data access standpoint? What if this data set gets deleted, right? Well, what can I do? Okay, I can copy it. I can put it up on the Carbon Doomsday website, right? That's sort of credible, right? But I'm just like a guy on the internet. It's just a data set on GitHub. It kind of could be from anywhere. And it got me thinking about what's another way that I could post the data? And this got me thinking about blockchains. So you might have heard of Bitcoin. It's a tool for tracking transactions over many, many years. Bitcoin is one of the most well-known ones. It started back in 2009, and you can track every single data point on Bitcoin back to 2009. So I called up my friend Purant Bangchfant. He's an artist, he's a designer. We worked together on Carbon Doomsday, on AirMiners, and we posted the data to the Ethereum blockchain. And we visualized it using an algorithm. So here's the visualization. It just takes the data points and it turns it into this visual. Now, it's not a passive chart that just shows the line going up. It shows urgency. The data glitches, the data jiggles and wiggles, the more and more as the Earth system starts to shake. Here's where you can get involved. We've submitted this art piece to an art competition. It's a digital art, crypto art competition called 6529. And 3 times a week, this community of voters picks one piece they feel embodies the kind of cultural moment of that day. Now, our piece, called Gas Wars, is currently number 17 on the list. So it's gone from the very, very bottom, and now it's at number 17. So you can get involved. I've got an AirMiners channel on the network. Come join that. You get updates about the piece, about the voting. You can advocate for others in the community to vote. And when it finally gets voted up to number 1, you're going to be able to buy one of the copies of the piece. So come join the 6529 network, and let's make Gas Wars happen. Now, this might be totally a strange, weird concept, maybe offensive concept to you. If it's all those things, but it's still interesting, hit reply. I'd love to hear from you. If you're already into digital art, if you're into digital data visualizations, I'd love to hear from you. If you're already on the 6529 network, you know where to find me. If you're collecting NFTs and things like that, I would love to hear from you, love to get your votes. And I look forward to making Gas Wars part of the Ethereum blockchain forever. My plan, my next step is that the annual data point for this is going to be posted early next year, early in 2026. And my plan is to go back up the mountain and post that data point to the Ethereum blockchain from up on the mountain, update the visualization, and have this really cool moment of taking the latest data, potentially one of the final data points from Mauna Loa Observatory, and posting it where it will persist forever. So I look forward to hearing from you about all that.